guys, it's Jackie with Innocent Armor here today with Mike Wang and Cristina Coria. Cristina has done just about everything in her career. She's been a police officer for the Santa Monica Police Department. She's been on Survivor. She's done a lot of different things, but I'm just going to toss it to her and ask her to tell us what she's been doing. Thank you, Cristina.
Oh, thank you. Thanks for having me on this. You guys are awesome. I've been a cop 15 years. I did several things while I was on the job. I was vice, narcotics officer, gang officer, working bike patrol, regular patrol, crisis negotiator, school resource officer, explorer advisor. Did a little bit of everything, so thank God. But also, unfortunately, had a few injuries on the job, which caused me to be medically retired. So, yeah.
Well, Cristina, I want to first of all thank you very much for joining us in this. This is our inaugural video podcast. So you're.
Oh, nice! I feel honored.
Yes, I'm honored actually to be able to call you, my friend, and you're a true American hero. You know, so it's you have a very interesting background, and it'd be nice for. For you to kind of share some of your experiences, because this is going to be very educational for our viewers, and so we're going to try to ask some questions that maybe other people would probably be interested in hearing, and this just kind of disseminate information out.
Okay.
Okay. So having said that, can you kind of explain how you got into the field of law enforcement?
Well, my uncle and my father were both in law enforcement, same department. I never met my uncle because he died of cancer. But my father, when I was 12 years old, was murdered after he retired from the force. But before he retired and before he got killed, I was very close to him. We talked about stories about his job. And he was my role model. So after he got killed, it really pushed me more into really becoming a cop. I started at 14. I was an explorer. And then I was a cadet. And then I was a parking checker. Then I was a water conservation officer. Then I was a community service officer. Then I was a college police officer. That's the first time I went to the police academy. Stayed there for a year and then transferred over to Santa Monica Police Department as a police officer there. So it's kind of like my whole career, my whole life being in law enforcement. I had other little jobs here and there, like teaching dance or working in grocery stores or clothing stores and waitressing. But that was my passion, was becoming a police officer.
That's awesome. So one of the questions that we get a lot from our customers is if you've been arrested, can you own bullet-resistant clothing?
It depends on what you're arrested for. If it's a misdemeanor or a felony, definitely felony. You cannot be, you can't own a gun or you can't own a gun. You can't go register for a gun. You can't be around anyone with a gun unless they have it concealed and they have a permit for it. But no, if you're a felon or if you're involved in domestic violence or have a restraining order, you cannot have a gun.
And then can Americans wear bullet-resistant clothing anywhere?
Yes, actually, you have a right. You have a right to wear bulletproof, bullet-resistant, bullet protection. That's your right to have to take care of yourself.
Awesome. And then if you get pulled over by the police, are you required to tell the police that you're wearing bullet-resistant gear in any way?
No, but I think that if you did get pulled over, so there's probably no question, or the officer doesn't see that you're wearing something, and he's probably going, "Why are you wearing that? Are you gonna go get involved in a bank robbery?" It's probably better to just say, "Hey, just let you know, I have this new outfit or whatever, this new clothing that has bullet-resistant material in it or whatever." I mean, it's probably better just to kind of say something so it doesn't kind of make them nervous, like, "Why are you wearing this bullet-resistant or bulletproof clothing?"
Right. I'm sure on the front line you've had some pretty scary encounters. Have you ever been shot at?
I've been shot at, I've been hit, I've been in a shooting off duty, on duty. I've been in a few different things. And I will say, going through it, like when I was off duty, I think it was even worse because I didn't have any clothing that was bullet resistant. I didn't have that bulletproof vest that if I would have had Mike's vest, I would have been very comfortable, but I would have felt a lot more comfortable. But being off duty, which, you don't have anything, you don't have your gear, you don't have your bulletproof vest, you don't have all the stuff that you need, to do something in that situation. Fortunately, no one got hurt, and things were taken care of, and the guy they got him into custody. But, it was pretty scary. At the same time, being on duty and being in a shooting, I mean, I was wearing my vest, but unfortunately or fortunately, I was shot in my arm. It fractured my humerus and shattered my radius. It was a blessing because it could easily have gone through my arm and under my vest area, under my armpit, which my vest area does not cover. So I was very fortunate. It kind of basically did a complete U-turn.
Wow.
So it came in and out, and yeah. So
We're so glad to hear that you're okay.
well, thank you.
Yeah. So, hey, Cristina, in your opinion, what do you think is the best way to kind of protect yourself from any imminent types of threats? You know, what can people do to be safer?
Well, first and foremost, you always got to be aware of your surrounding. You know, people have to be cautious. You know, like people are sometimes in a bubble, and you know they think everything's gonna be fine, nothing's gonna happen to them until it happens. So what I tell people is always be aware of your surrounding. Always have something in your hand that could protect you. Have a plan. You know, there's, especially in this day and age, whether you're at the market or whether you're in your car or whether you're at church, because we've seen things happen where people are in their car and also these carjackers try to, you know, carjack their car while they're in the car. Or you're at church and something like the shootings that have happened at church happens, or in the movie theater. It's anywhere nowadays. So I think we need to be aware of our surroundings. And if something does look like it doesn't seem like it fits in, or someone seems kind of off, I think we need to be a little bit more cautious and maybe get away from that area or report it to somebody. You know, these are all these little things that I think we got to set into place nowadays. And unfortunately, this is the way of life now. But I think also having the right tools yourself. I mean, whether it's, you know, in a shooting situation, I mean, the things that are best going to help you is being behind something that's like cement or something that is protection, not just hiding place, because people get that misconception that if they can't see me, I can't get hurt. No, you can still get hurt behind something that a bullet can go right through. So you need to be behind something that's going to protect you. At the same time, clothing, like Mike, your clothing would be awesome because yeah, give them that extra protection of a layer of protection that's going to protect them against a bullet, protect them against a knife fight, you know, certain things that definitely is needed.
Well, you know, kind of leading into that, you know, what do you think are some misconceptions that people have regarding, you know, law enforcement?
In what ways? And what do you mean?
You know, just what if someone asks you, have you had people like ask you, oh, you know, as being a police officer, is this what you're doing, or you know, just
is this what you signed up for?
Yeah, exactly.
Well, okay, so as a police officer, we know there's risk. I mean, but just like anybody, just because there's risk doesn't mean that's what we want, we signed up for. You know, we know that there's a risk of getting shot, a risk of getting hit by a car, a risk of getting involved in a situation that could cost you your life, or your partner's life. We hope that that doesn't happen, but that isn't something we signed up for in that sense. It's like, and we really all want to go home. So I think people have to realize we're human, we're not robots. We do bleed like everyone else. We do have emotions like everyone else. And everything we see isn't something anyone should see. You know, so it is going to cause problems in the future or even while they're on the job. And that's what I mean by that is like PTSD, you know, or someone going through their trauma and, you know, basically it affecting them. You know, somebody who gets pulled over by somebody who just saw a child being murdered. You know, it's going to change the dynamics of things. So people don't get that. And I think that people think, okay, an officer needs to be a certain way all the time, on the spot, on point. But no, we have emotions. And sometimes we forget to show those emotions because we're afraid to show our humanity or afraid to show our, what's it called? I guess we don't want to put our walls down. We don't want to show our soft side or our
human side. I mean, you're humans too, right? I mean, not robots. What was some of your favorite things about being a police officer?
Well, I loved helping the public. I love being there for them and hopefully having the right answers for them if they have questions. I love seeing the kids. I mean, a lot of officers always say, oh, these kids, you know, flick us off or, you know, they hate us. No, there are a lot of kids that do respect you. It's just a matter of getting out of your car and approaching them and talking to them like they're, you know, little kids, and being there like superhero for them or being that person that they can talk to or rely on. I mean, I luckily worked in the schools on my last year on the job and I loved it. And I wish I would have got on that job sooner, because when we talk to our kids at this early age, they won't be our problems later on. And if they know they can, you know, we're there for them at a very young age, you know, they're going to know, hey, those officers are there for us. They're going to be helping us. They're the ones we need to go to if something were to happen. Not, oh, you know what, I'm going to run from them. My mom told me I should be afraid of them. And I hate when parents tell their kids, I'm going to call the police. They're going to arrest you.
Yeah.
I hate when they do that. I mean, you and I all know, I mean, like there's a way to speak to your children about, you know, discipline and just certain things, but there should be no reason why you're scaring your child into saying, if they're doing something so minor, like the police are going to come and arrest you. That just it causes that fear.
Well, the nice thing, Cristina, about that is you kind of, you're still doing that. You're working a lot with schools, right?
Yeah, no, I try to go and speak to schools. I try to go and speak at charity events. I do a lot of events that, you know, I'm involved with kids, and I really like that interaction. I mean, it definitely to me was a lot more fulfilling when I was in uniform, because then you gave that extra, like me telling a kid I was a police officer and showing him my badge, you know, in my flap, you know, my little wallet is different than me being in uniform and him respecting me now in uniform and like, oh wow, she's a woman, she's a police officer, she's, you know, the whole package. But that's why when I do go to conferences or do go and speak at schools, I do have pictures to show the kids what I've done, you know, and different kind of steps in my life.
And plus, you got to tell them you were in Survivor. That's going to give you instant credibility.
Well, you know what? When I was on the job and I was working in the schools, and when I got off Survivor, it actually worked out to my benefit, because the kids were like, they were such bullies to you. They were so mean to you. And I was like, it's kind of nice. They're like backing me up. It's really cute.
Can you talk a little bit about Survivor and what that was like?
Sure. Well, I got casted for it because of my background of being shot on line of duty, been hit by a car where I was almost squished to death. I've had a lot of situations where I could have been not here. So they looked at me as, hey, you have a true survivor story. You'd be great for the show. And I really wanted to get out of it. I was like, no, I'm good. No, I'm good. They're like, no, we need you for the show. So then I asked my chief. He was more excited than I was. And he's like, this would be a great opportunity for public relations and getting yourself out there. And hey, you could win $1 million. I'm like, then you go on. You go eat bugs.
You were an active police officer? I thought you did that after you retired.
No, I was active still. Like, so I got shot in 2000. I went back to work in 2001. I was on the job for a good 6 years, full-time back on the job. You know, I worked around my injuries. So it's full-time. And then they called me to go on Survivor, went on Survivor. And then 2 years later, I retired. So yeah, I was active. So when I was on Survivor and when I came back, like, I mean, I had people like the paparazzi trying to take pictures, and that was kind of awkward because I'm in uniform, and you know, so every time I saw a cameraman somewhere, I'd be like, okay, I'm going the opposite direction. So yeah, but it helped with talking to kids, because they were like, hey, she's not just a cop in a sense, you know, like she was a cop on TV.
Yeah.
And so kind of gave that personal, like exciting little thing with the kids, and it kind of helped out because I'd come in and start talking about the show, but then I'll talk about law enforcement. So it was kind of like both sides, you know, like it kind of helped out.
That's really cool. So any other plans on being on any other reality TV shows?
Well, actually, it's funny. They called me to go back on it again, but I off on my injuries because I had another neck surgery and back surgery, and I need another neck and back surgery. So when they asked me to go on, it's when I had my surgery, so I couldn't. But I think one time was good enough for me. I mean, it was a great experience, and I took a lot from it. But I don't know. I don't know if there's any other reality shows I really like to go on. I think if anything, I would like to do some shows where if it's a reality show, it'd be more like doing stuff with charities, helping charities, or doing like a charity makeover show or something where we can help these charities thrive and raise more money without using their money.
I love that. Yeah. That's awesome. Let me ask you, in these uncertain times that we're living in right now, do you think that the movement of protection is something that every American should be thinking about, not just ones who have been in law enforcement or maybe military background?
Yes, I agree. Especially right now, I mean, we're not only dealing with guns and weapons and bombs and everything else, we're now dealing with viruses. We're dealing with this, you know, the chemical stuff now, the stuff that's either man-made or not man-made. I mean, it just depends who's, you know, where it's coming from. But we have a lot of things now that we got to change the way we do things. Whether it's putting a mask on, whether it's putting a vest on, you know, or whether it's carrying a gun, you know, or, you know, whatever we need nowadays. We have to look at things very differently. It's not like how it was back in the days. I mean, it's a lot of different dynamics going on.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Mike, do you have any other questions?
Yeah, you know, Cristina, why don't you talk a little bit about some of the things that you're working on, with, you know, some of your passions. Tell us what you're doing right now.
Well, it's funny because I've had a lot of ideas, and unfortunately, a lot of them have been, you know, we'll say done. Like, it's like if you have money, you make money. If you have an idea, I think you need to get it done right away if you have the money to do it. Unfortunately, because of timing and everything else, a lot of the ideas I have, thank God they're good ideas, people are doing them. And you got to be careful who you say things to because things get stolen. So I've worked on a bulletproof vest backpack. I've worked on a wine line for law enforcement and military and our first responders, which I'm still working on. I'm working on a lot of different things. I'm working on an app to help first responders when it comes to work comp stuff. I'm working on, I mean, just a bunch of little things that hopefully will change what's going on now. I mean, even with, you know, sanitizing things or being like where we don't cross-contaminate your clothing or certain things. So yeah, I'm working on a lot of good things.
Yeah, I don't think there's enough time in the day for you to do all your stuff.
I know, right? And then I'm working for American Police Beat magazine. So it's a national police magazine. So right now I'm working on, we have our May commemorative issue, which in May, it's the National Police Week, which they honor our fallen officers. So what I'm doing is I'm getting businesses and thank you, Mike. You got an advertisement on our page, so thank you. But we're asking businesses and associations and anyone for that matter to pay tribute to officers and to support their families, so that these families know that their father, husband, wife, whoever was, did not die in vain, and that, you know, they paid the ultimate sacrifice, but we're never going to forget them.
Yeah, I was just speaking with one of the marketing directors for National Law Enforcement Museum and Memorial.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, so that's, I'm sure, if you ever worked with them in the past, you know who they are, right?
Yeah, yes. And, you know, the museum, if you ever go to Washington, it's a pretty amazing museum. I mean, it's awesome. But yeah, we're working with them. We work with a bunch of different organizations, especially with American Police Beat, since it's the national magazine. So yeah, and they deal with a lot of the survivors of the fallen. So yeah, it's you know what, to me, that's my passion. Right now I also work with 911 Media, which they do all the newsletters for Korak, FOP, Phoenix PD, Vegas PD, Star and Shield, Star News, and they also do their apps and websites. So to me, it's like I'm still at least kind of somewhat in law enforcement arena and helping still in some way. But I definitely want to also put more stories and work with the magazine itself and actually getting articles out there.
Well, and then I was bringing up the Cannonball Memorial Run with that lady too.
Yeah, those guys are awesome. That's a great idea what they're doing, and they're raising money for the fallen officers, you know, for their families. It's pretty awesome.
Well, we really appreciate what you're doing.
Well, thank you. I wish I could do more. I mean, I miss the job. I don't miss this virus. I'm glad I'm not out there because you can't shoot the damn thing. But I am, you know, praying for all the first responders out there. And now, unfortunately, our first responders don't just mean police and fire and nurse and doctors. There's people out there even just sending, you know, packages to the elderly or working in the grocery stores or just doing the, you know, just the necessity to be out there for all of us to survive. So
absolutely.
Scary times, but it will be better. It'll be better, and we will prevail from this.
Absolutely.
That's what makes America great. We're resilient. We're gonna bounce back and be stronger than ever. But you know, everybody just tries to do their part and do the social distancing, and we'll come through with this flying colors.
Absolutely.
I totally agree.
Yeah, thank you, Christina. I really appreciate you joining.
No problem. This is awesome. And you know what? Even this, you know, doing Zoom conferences, it's changed the dynamics of everything.
Yeah,
you know,
it really has.
But it's nice. You know, we actually can communicate more without having to be in the same room, and you know, we can be long distance and still do that. So it's
right.
Awesome.
So we can continue to do this thing even once you know, people are available to actually go out and about, because it's a lot easier to do things like this.
It's true. I mean, there's a lot of positives that are going to come out of this.
Yeah.
Well, whatever you guys need, I'm here for you guys. And
Thank
like
you
I said,
so much,
whatever.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Christina, and we look forward to talking to you again soon.